What's up, everybody? It's your girl. I hope everybody had a wonderful day so far, at least. I don't know. It's like 1:51 here, so I have no idea what time y'all are listening to this. But thank you for listening. That's super cool. Today we're gonna get into some of the more traumatic moments of my life involving music, because there's way more than just one. Now I know when most people think of music, they like instantaneously think of either memories or like playlists or just kind of like their general vibe. Most people like know who they like, or even if it's all over the place, they got artists they like. Y'all, it took me a really long time to get there, especially as somebody who considers like the actual artists themselves. Like, I'm less about the music and more about the artist kind of girl. So I have to think about, is this person like demonstrating my values? Is what they're actually producing coming from a place where it's genuine to that person? Like, it would be a mess for me to be like rapping about drugs and gangs and stuff. Like, I don't have any experience with that. So like, I don't want the artist I'm listening to be talking about, or even something just like, if you're singing a song about being a teacher and turns out you're like a criminal. Like, what? No, I need someone who's real, who's genuine, somebody I can get behind. So I have to think about that when I think about music. And then there's my faith component as well. If it's not glorifying the Lord, or more importantly, if it's going against the Lord, like, I can't listen to that. That's just me personally. But like, everybody has, I feel like, some type of person, some type of genre, something that they enjoy. But for me, it took me a really, really long time to be like, okay, this is what I like now. So I'm happy I'm at that point now, especially in college, where I constantly have my AirPods in trying to walk to classes, because if I were to just walk, what I have like mile walks. What am I gonna do for 20 minutes? Just stare outside? Like, what? That's crazy. So it's nice to have like music that I like to listen to and stuff like that. But that's actually not what we're talking about today. We're gonna be talking about the time where I had multiple live performances. Now, before y'all start, I'm not a singer. I mean, like, I like to think I can carry a tune, but if someone's like, yo, who in the room can sing? My hand is not raised. Trust, it is not. So I don't really know how I kept getting into these positions, but I was. So in kindergarten, no, it wasn't kindergarten. When was it? Like first grade? I think it was first grade. We were doing this like really itty bitty musical about sheep and some kind of farm animals. It wasn't the one with the boas. If you know, you know. We'll get to that in a minute. But it was something about sheep, and this teacher, what's her name? I think her name was Miss Williams. Miss Williams, she was such a character. I loved her, but I don't know what happened to her. I think she like switched elementary schools or something. I'm sure she's retired now. But anyway, she picked this one girl to do a solo. I'm like, oh my goodness, my friend, she's so good, yay. And it's like 2 days, no, I think it was one day before the performance. They're having a little chat, and she's like almost crying. I'm like, oh, what's going on, girl? And she pulls me aside after. She's like, Anna, come down here. I'm like, oh, okay. So I talked to the teacher, and she's like, so and so can't do this. Will you sing it right now? And I'm like, right now in front of everybody. Put me on stage. Okay. So she's like, okay, here's the thing, whatever. She starts playing the music. It was literally like 4 words. So I was like, yeah, I can sing it. So I sang it, and she's like, yeah, that's fine. You can just do it. And I was like, girl, huh? I never auditioned for this. This is not for me. Like, what are you on? And so I'm like, okay, whatever. I mean, like, if my friend can't do it, then of course I'm gonna help her out. So whatever. I go home, and I'm like having a little bit of anxiety. I'm like, oh my goodness. Like, I was fully ready to come tomorrow, sing about sheep, and be okay. But now I got a whole solo, and my parents have no idea. And so I was nervous. And whenever I was nervous and I was little, I would sleep with my older sister in her bed, and we'd watch like Dance Moms or something. And so I remember that night, if you've seen the episode where Chloe and Maddie do the same solo, and then Chloe wins, and then Abby talks to all the judges and is like, y'all misscored her or whatever. And so they literally take the title from Chloe and give it to Maddie. Oh my goodness, it's heartbreaking. But we were watching that episode. And I was talking to my sister. I was like, I need to tell you something. She's like, what? It's like 11 o'clock. And I'm like, I have a solo tomorrow. She's like, Anna, what? You don't sing? I was like, I know. And so I was like flipping out about it. She's like, it's Anna, it's going to be fine. It's like 4 words. You'll be okay. And I was like, okay, I got it. So I sing it the next day. My parents were like, what? You never told us. I was like, yeah, I really wasn't supposed to have it, but here we are. So yeah, that was traumatic for me, dealing with anxiety at the ripe age of like, what, 6? How old are you in first grade? Something like that. I don't know. Anyway, and then the next year we had another musical, but this one was, I think it was also about farm animals. I'm like, come on, y'all. We are not Hickville, USA. Like, this is Avon, Indiana. Oh, that's fine. Y'all know who I'm at. This is Avon, Indiana. Like, what? What do y'all mean? And I just don't know why we had so many farm ones. It was just weird, but whatever. And so the lady, okay, so y'all need to know the background. You need the context for this, okay? My dad was the PTO president for like, I don't know how many terms, whatever. Even if he wasn't the president and just on the board, he would not stop talking. So he was basically the president regardless. So you either liked him or you did not like him at all. And so we had one instance where there was another lady who was also very present in the community, and they beefed. They beefed for sure. And so I know her name. I'm not going to name drop her, but I will name drop her first name. Sue. If you're listening, stop listening. I'm just kidding. Anyone is welcome, of course. But anyway, Sue starts talking. She brings out these boas, and I'm like, okay, now you know I'm not about no boa. Huh? Where do we get the money for this? I don't think so. And so everybody next to me is geeking out. They're like, I can't wait to wear the boa. And I'm like, y'all don't understand. They put this out the budget. Blah. I'm kidding. I was not thinking about the budget. I just didn't want to put nothing furry on my neck. Anyway, she brings out the boas. And I'm like, well, I guess this is what we're doing now. So she wraps it around me. And I'm like, okay, Sue, back up. I can do it myself. I'm in 2nd grade. All right. Passes all the boas. The teacher's like, oh, this is going to be excellent. And everyone's screaming, giggling. Can't wait to use these boas. And I got the nastiest side eye at Sue. Oh, my goodness. Looking back now, it's actually hilarious. And so I've given her the nastiest side eye possible. And mind you, I would do that regardless. Because if my dad said this is an op, I'm going to respect that. Trust. Because we'd go to the neighborhood pool, right? Her and her kids would pull up, and my little sister and I would literally go underwater until they sat down. She probably didn't even know our names, but their beef was there, y'all. It started from a young age. But anyway, so now we gotta wear these boas in this musical, and I'm like, I'm gonna look so stupid. But whatever. And of course, if one thing about me, if I'm in a performance, you best believe I'm gonna give it my all. So you know I performed, and my mother, she took so many pictures of me and continues to post them to this day. If you're a troll on my mom's Facebook, you will probably see a picture of me in a boa. Disregard. Just don't mind that, okay? That, I don't want to speak on it any more than I already have. But anyway, we get through it. It's finally over. I'm like, all right, whatever. It's done now. And then, what happens after that? Ooh, I had something in mind and then it completely slipped. I don't know. Did you guys ever do hot cross buns on the recorder or like stuff like that? We had a whole like recorder thing. I was hype. I'm like, yes. We even called it like recorder karate. Like I was trying to get my black belt. Do not play with me. Well, we get to the thing. We had a brand new teacher, and like obviously if you're brand new, you're not necessarily going to keep everything on track. So we were falling behind, and none of us became black belts. And I was like, okay, wait. Because my sister was a black belt. What do you mean I'm not a black belt too? Like, what? And that's not okay with me. So I learned it on my own and gave myself an honorary black belt. I'm like, I don't even care if the notes are correct. They're correct in my heart, baby, okay? So yeah, you're looking at a black belt, period. But I was so sad because the last convo, which is just like, it's short for convocation, if you know. Most people know what convocation is. Anyway, the very last one, all the 4th graders were supposed to play on the recorder, and we didn't do that because we didn't know how. So that was jarring and unfortunate for all of us. But anyway, we had another thing, Veterans Day, and that same teacher who was like, Anna, can you sing this? She said, Anna, can you sing this too? And I was like, bro, why me? Literally, why me? Like, even, like, I don't understand. It was weird, but I was like, it's for the veterans. What am I going to say? No, you served our country, but nah, I'm not doing it, bro. Like, whatever. So I did it. Plus, my dad, if I was asked to do anything, my dad's like, oh, you're doing that. I don't care if you don't want to do it. You're doing it. And I was like, okay, great. Thank you, Dad. That's wonderful. Can't wait. Cannot wait. Whatever. Anyway, and then we had one more musical, 4th grade. Honestly, that one was pretty uneventful. I didn't have to do anything. I was just there. So, bit the bullet on that one. But y'all, this is where things take a turn. Because I thought I'd finally beat the system of being forced to do musicals and just music in general that I did not want to do. Oh, but I was so sorely mistaken, y'all. Ooh, okay. 5th grade rolls around, and at my school, in 6th grade, you have to either decide to be an orchestra, band, or choir, but you only have to do it for a year. And I'm like, you know what? Let's learn an instrument. I want to learn how to play like the trombone or something like that. That'd be cool. So I'm picking out all my instruments, and I'm like, okay, I'll try the trombone, I'll try the violin, and I guess I'll sing or whatever. So we're getting in this room. I try the trombone, and I'm absolutely garbage at it. I think that I finally hit one correct note at the very end. And of course, I left thinking like, ooh, yep, I can do that. Just gonna need some practice. No. And then I did the violin, and I was even worse at the violin. I don't know how. I don't know how you mess it up that bad. There's what, like 4 or 5 strings, but no, I managed to just mess it all up completely. And so then I'm like, you know what? Let me just try singing because that does seem like the easiest, and I wouldn't have to practice because so many kids do it. No one's gonna hear my voice individually. So I get in the room, and it's my older sister's choir teacher because, like, why would she leave the school? She only been there for like a few years. She immediately recognizes me. She's like, "Oh my goodness, Anna, you're Emma's little sister." And I'm like, "Uh oh, this is a uh oh for you because my sister, she was into dance, she was into music, she was a whole performer, she was in a show choir, like she did it all." And so she's looking at me like I'm her mini me, and I'm like, "Girl, no." She literally straight up said like, "Oh, are you excited to do like Emma?" And I was like, "Oh no, we are not the same." And her smile dropped. Her smile hit the floor so fast. Now I had a very bad attitude. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all, but I was like, my dad would kill me if I didn't even try. So here we are. Plus, again, I did not really want to practice a ton because at that point I was playing sports and stuff year round. I'm like, I don't want to spend time on music when I don't like music. What? No. So I was like, this is gonna be the easiest. Let's just go. So we're doing it. She's like, "Oh, I hope you'll consider choir at the end. You were nice today." And I was like, "Yeah, great singing again. Okay, bye." Anyway, and then I go home and I plop the papers on my dad's desk and I'm like, ugh, I sucked at every instrument today, so I guess I'm doing choir. And he's like, "That's great. Can't wait for you. Just like Emma." And I'm like, "No." But anyway, no beef to Emma, by the way. She was a very good singer, still a very great dancer. Like, that just wasn't my path. So I did not want to be compared to her. But anyway, then the summer rolls around and I'm like, "Yeah, I can't wait, whatever." And my favorite part of summer, that's a lie. One thing I enjoyed about summer was the all sports camp. It was pretty much an all day thing. And a lot of my friends were into sports too. So we would do it together and it was just a really good time. But unfortunately, most of the packets that came out were like grouped together with other stuff. So when I got the flyer for that, I also got the flyer for show choir camp. And I send it to my dad, or I give it to my dad. And I'm like, "Haha, look at this. Emma's going to have to do that, right?" And she's like, "No, I already signed both of you up for it." And I look at him and I kid you not, I start laughing on the spot. I'm like, "I know you did not. What? That's crazy." And Emma's in the room too looking at me like, "Yeah, he did." And I was like, "Are you kidding me right now?" And I was mad. I was actually mad. Like, I wasn't yelling at my dad or nothing, but I was like, "You cannot be doing that. Like, what do you mean I'm doing that? I do not want to do that. You don't get it. None of my friends want to do this. All my friends were making fun of this 2 minutes ago. Like, I am not going to be there." And he's like, "Well, I dropped like $40, so yes, you will." And I was like, "Oh, okay." Anyway, this camp is from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. What are we doing for 8 hours? I get it. You know, you want the kids to be occupied while the parents are at work. Okay, I understand. But 8 hours of straight singing and dancing? What? That is certifiably insane. That's inhumane. And get this. This is the kicker. When you have a corporate job, you get a lunch break. You get an hour. You can bring your lunch in. You can go out and get lunch, whatever you want to do. You have your hour. We got 30 minutes. And 5 to 10 minutes was figuring out how to order people outside. So we really only ate for like 20 minutes a day. And I'm like, this is not a break. This is a scuffle going outside and then scuffling back in. What do you mean? So I was not happy to hear about that. Then we get there. Everyone who's there, well, not everyone, but predominantly everyone is super excited. They're playing like the Cupid Shuffle. Everyone's getting hyped. They can't wait to sing. They can't wait to dance. And I'm furious. I'm like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to do any of this. So I'm doing all this like half effort. None of my friends are there. There's a couple people I recognize from my class, but even they are super into it. So I can't even be like, "Oh, this is so stupid, right, guys?" They're like, "No, this is fun." I'm like, okay. I can't be a Debbie Downer. So I'm just like silently suffering because I don't want to ruin it for them. But I'm having a horrible time. And I can't talk to my sister about it because she's like leading the whole camp. And I'm like, "Bruh, you've got to be kidding me." And I'm like, you know what? It's 4 p.m. Finally, we get home. And my sister's like, "To the office." And I'm like, "What do you mean to the office? You're not my mom." And we start practicing for like 30 minutes. I'm like, "Emma, I just danced for 8 hours. I am not doing this." So I would run to the fridge, get like a grape or something. She'd be like, "And I come back." And I would literally run to my room and lock the door. I was like, you can't make me do this. I'm eating and sleeping and I have to wake up tomorrow and do it all over again. Like, I need a break. Anyway, the week goes on. It's like, I think the day before the big show or whatever. And the same choir teacher at that school is also running the camp. She gets up on this balcony that you can see everybody in because it's in like this big multi-purpose room, but there's like a big balcony at the top where you can oversee it all, and that's where she's standing. And she's like, "Everyone, attention!" So I'm like, "Good golly, what does she want now?" Anyway, I look at her and she's like, we're going to run through the entire thing and I have a dozen donuts. If you want a donut, you got to prove to me and I'll pick out the 12 best people. And mind y'all, I don't like donuts. Even to this day, I don't really like them. Like if someone says, eat this, you must. I'm not going to be upset. I'll be like, fine, of course. But I would never reach for a donut or frankly even ask for one. That's just not my thing. But I was starved because, mind you, we only got 30 minutes to eat. So I'm like, you know what? Anything for this donut. So I look at her. We lock eyes, and I'm putting on the performance of a lifetime. I am nailing the choreo, probably not nailing the notes. But guess what? She can't hear. She's super far away from me. I'm giving face. I'm giving body. I'm giving it all. And she's like, all right, I have my winners. It's time to announce it. And I'm fully expecting a donut at this point. I'm like, you know what? I know I ate. Give me my donut. Plus, you know my sister, so you were already looking at me. I know you were, girl. And she announces it, and I'm like the last person she says. I'm like, let's go. So, nepotism at its finest. I don't even care. Anyway, so I'm all excited for my donut because now I finally get to eat. And she brings me the boxes, and I'm like, oh, I don't know what donut shop this is. But I'm like, you know what? The only place I know is Dunkin' Donuts. So, like, it's a good chance if it wasn't going to be Dunkin' Donuts, I'm not going to be able to recognize it. So, she pulls it out the box. And I see these weird donuts that don't have a circle in the middle. And I'm like, I've never seen a donut like that before. But okay. So I bite into it, and something explodes in my mouth. And I'm like, oh, what the heck is that? I wipe my mouth, and it's red. I'm like, oh, no, I'm bleeding. No. It was jelly. It was so much worse. I would have rather eaten a blood-filled donut than that horrible, horrid jelly donut. It was awful. It was so, so bad. But I'm like, well, she finally, gave us food. I can finally eat. I have to eat this. But so I go in for another bite. Like maybe it was just that first bite. No, it was even worse the second time. So I eat the outside edges and grab a napkin to wipe my mouth and shove the donut in it and throw it in the trash because I could not at that point. Only good thing about that horrid donut, I lost all my appetite. So then I was okay. But then it's finally the very last day. And I'm like, okay, you know what? This was horrible. It was awful, but at least it's over now. And so it's show day, and of course my parents are there trying to support Emma and everything else. But I was like, you know what? The one perk of my friends not being here is they're not going to come to this performance because they literally don't know me. So they know nothing about this. They don't know the location. They can't be here. So I'm all excited. Oh, but who walks in the door? But my very best friend at the time. And I'm like, what are you doing here? Why are you here right now? And then I remember one of her best friends is she's in a professional choir. She's downtown, all of it. You know what I'm saying? So she is actually committed to the bit. She is a good singer. She's a good dancer. She is built for this. And I'm like, oh, I completely forgot she was here. And I'm like, you know what? She's not here to support me. She's here to support her other friends. She's not going to be looking at me. Y'all, I was so wrong. Because not only is she staring at me the entire performance while I'm trying to hold it together, not laugh, not cry, none of it, but she is recording me for the whole entire 20-minute performance. And I'm like, okay, all right, you know what? Why? Please, why? It was so scarring. And I know she's going to drop it in the group chat after. So at this point, I'm livid. Because not only have I had a horrible week, now we've got photo evidence of the worst moment of my life. It was so bad. And so I'm furious with my parents at this point. I'm furious with Emma. I'm furious at everybody. We leave the school, and I'm screaming in the parking lot, I can't believe you made me do that. I am never coming back here again. This was absolutely horrible. And then my choir teacher walks out. Luckily for me, I was pretty far into the parking lot, so I don't know for a fact if she heard me. But I enrolled in her class next semester, so that was awkward. And then I walk in again, first day of class, and she's like, oh my goodness, Anna, are you going to be like Emma? And I was like, no. Are you going to sign up for show choir? No. Are you going to audition? No. Let me just stop you right there. And yeah, then she never expected anything of me after that. So that was all good. But yeah. But she actually ended up planning our Disney vacation. So shout out to her for putting up with me, who was not having any of it, and then planning our vacation, which we had a lovely time on. But anyway, those are the main instances of horrible interactions I have in music. Music and I now, we're balling. I love karaoke. No one said I was good at it, but I love it. I think it's so much fun. I like listening to my music, all the things, but it took us a while to get there. I'm not even going to lie to y'all, but that's going to do it for today. If you have any other trauma of your own, or you want to hear about something specific, please let me know. I would love to compare. And I'm playing, but yeah, hope y'all have a good rest of your day, and bye for now.